Sairam students, welcome once again to yet another lecture of English literature. Today we are going to start a new poem, No Men Are Foreign by James Kirkup. Let me tell you about our poet. James Kirkup was born on 23rd April 1918 and he died on 10th May 2009. James Harold Kirkup was an English poet, translator, and travel writer. He wrote over 30 books, including autobiographies, novels, and plays. Now, this poem, No Men Are Foreign, in this, the poet reminds us that the man made differences are baseless. Okay. The central idea of the poem tells us that we should not distinguish people on the basis of their appearance, religion, region, etc. So these divisions are based on superficial background. They are senseless since we all need the same basic resources for our survival. Okay, so people of the whole world are brothers. The poet also tells us that all people are born, they wear clothes, they eat food, and at last die and buried in the same earth. Right? So we all are descended from a common source, and therefore we must shun all violence. He also tells that it is we who defile the earth by hating and fighting with each other. So basically, we all should unite together and make this world a better place to live. Right, so now let's get started with the poem. Remember, no men are strange, no countries foreign. Beneath all uniforms, a single body breathes. Like ours, the land our brothers walk upon is earth like this in which we all shall lie. Okay, so here the poet in the first line tells us that no men are strange. Okay, so he is attempting to remove borders from the earth which have been erected to separate different countries. Then only no country will be foreign. If these boundaries, these borders are removed, that means the entire earth is one place. We will feel every country as our land, as our own land, when there will be no borders. Everyone will be free to move anywhere. Okay. And the poet also wants to say that the entire earth is one, and all the people who live on this earth, they belong to the same human race. Right. So remember, no men are strange and no country is foreign. Beneath all the uniforms. What does he mean to say by all the uniforms? He says that inside the uniforms worn by these soldiers of different countries, the human being is the same. Okay, he is not a different person. Though the uniforms that they wear appear to be different. Okay, each country has a separate uniform. But beneath this uniform, a single body breathes, like ours, the land our brothers walk upon. So what he says, God has all made us in a similar way. We breathe in the same way. Then he says that all the soldiers are our brothers. We all walk upon the same mother earth. Okay, is earth like this in which we all shall lie. So what he says, we all walk upon the same mother earth, and upon our death, we all shall lie in the grave in the same earth. So we all will be buried in the same earth. So this earth is common for all of us. Remember, no men are strange, no countries foreign. It's only the boundaries and borders that have separated us. If these boundaries and borders are removed, what will happen? This entire earth will be one place, right? And where we all can live and we all can move from one place to another without any restrictions. Now, here beneath refers to under. Strange means unknown. In stanza 2, they too, aware of sun and air and water, are fed by peaceful harvest, by war's long winter starved. Their hands are ours, and in their lines we read, a labor not different from our own. They, what do you mean by they here? They refers to those people who belong to other countries. So we call them foreigners and we also discriminate them and fight with them. So is this the right thing? Of course not. Okay. The poet says that nature has given all the bounties to all people. Also, just like he has given to us, everyone gets sunlight, everyone gets air and water in equal measure. So what he says is, here, God does not differentiate between people from different countries, but we humans, we definitely discriminate between people. So the poet tells us that the natural resources are provided by God to everyone who lives on the earth. But it is we who have built up these bounties. We built up these boundaries which separates us. Also, we all do farming during the time of peace and when there is no war. We live a relaxed life and we eat the things that nature gives us. Further, he adds that the way we starve during war and winter time is the same for those who belong to other countries. Okay, it's the same situation even there. Even they don't get time during the times of war. So he wants to say that foreigners, the people who live in other countries, whom we call foreigners, okay, even they suffer in the same way just like we do during times of war and during times of winter. And then the poet also says that even their hands are same like ours. Even they work very hard just like we do. We toil in the field. We work. Our farmers work. Okay, they work hard just like we do. The people who work in foreign countries also work hard. He is giving all these examples to us so as to convey to us, to convey to the reader that there is no difference between us and people belonging to other countries. So there is no difference between it. There's no difference in us and the people living in belonging to another country. We all are same. We all do. We all work hard and we all are, we all suffer during times of war. Then the next stanza. Remember, they have eyes like ours that wake or sleep and strength that can be won by love. In every land is common life that all can recognize and understand. So the poet asks the reader to remember something. He says that we should keep this thing in mind that a people of another country whom we think as our enemies, okay, have been bestowed by God with similar appearance. Okay, they have similar appearance. They look quite similar to us. Okay, God has given them eyes just like ours. Okay, just like ours, they open and when they are awake, it opens and closes when we are asleep. Similarly, He has given them strength which we can win through love. Then He says that in every country, the life is quite common. Okay, there is one thing that is common as life. Now, what does life means? Life means all things that are living over there. Okay, that is life. And if we can recognize them and if we can understand their feelings and realize that they are just like us, then there will be no fights or wars between us. Right? So, in this stanza, the poet asks the readers to remember something which is very important. He tells us that they have eyes, people of living in foreign countries have eyes just like us, which opens and closes just like us. All right. And also God has given strength which we can win through love. And he says that there is something called life which is common everywhere. Okay, and we need to recognize, and if we can recognize them and if we can understand them, then there will be no war, no fight between us. Now let's move ahead to the next stanza. I hope students you are able to understand. Let us remember, whenever we are told to hate our brothers, it is ourselves that we shall dispossess, betray, condemn, Remember, we who take arms against each other. So here, what does the poet tells us? Now here, dispossess, what does dispossess means? Dispossess refers to deprive of something. Okay, the poet says that we should remember. We should remember that whenever someone tells us to hate a person belonging to another country, to think him as our enemy. When someone tells us, consider this person who is belonging to another country as your enemy, or someone tells you to hate a person from another country, to think him as our enemy, and whenever we think someone to be our enemy, then we deprive ourselves, we cheat ourselves, and we condemn ourselves. So he says that we should stay away from such negativity. Okay, we should stay away from such thoughts that people try to put in us. We should not consider anyone to be our enemy. Okay, now the poet also tells us that remember, during war, both the parties must bear the loss. Okay, both the countries who are having fight will suffer great loss. And that is why the poet says that war is not in one favor. Okay, it will never it will never benefit one country. There will always be loss that is being suffered by both the countries at war. He says that whenever we pick any weapon against someone, we should remember one thing. And what is that thing that we need to remember? That we are taking arms against each other. We all are brothers. Okay, and since we all are brothers, we should not take arms against each other. Let's move ahead. It is the human earth that we defile. What do you mean by defile? It means to pollute. Okay, we are polluting this human earth. Our hells of fire and dust outrage the innocence. Outrage the innocence of. What do you mean by outrage? We are violating, we are affecting the purity of this entire earth, that is everywhere our own. Remember, no men are foreign and no countries strange. So we need to keep something in mind. The poet tells us that we should keep in mind whenever we pick weapons against any person whom we call as a foreigner, against whom we, any person who does not belong to our land, we make the earth dirty. We pollute the earth because weapons kill people and their bodies which fall on the earth make it dirty. Okay, so we humans, when we wage a war, it pollutes the earth, it pollutes the mother earth, it makes the earth dirty. Whenever war happens, it leads to a lot of bloodshed, fire, death, mass destruction. So these dead bodies, where do they accumulate? These dead bodies accumulate on earth and this makes it impure. Alright, so we humans are responsible for causing impurity on earth. The fire of war, the fire of war which erupts during these times, the smoke which emits, the smoke which comes out, the dust which fills the air, all these things pollute the earth. It is so very dirty that it pollutes and outrages the purity of the air. So, with all these things, the poet wants to give us a message. And what is that message? That we should not indulge in any kind of war. Okay, we need to remember one thing, that no men are foreign and no country strange. So, we all are brothers. This entire earth, okay, this entire earth we are living on, we need to remember that all on this earth, all humanity is alike in our heart, in our spirit. So the poet wishes to show his reader the ultimate effect of hatred for fellow human beings, to make them realize how badly it can affect them. Okay, it will not only affect we humans and our life, but will also affect the earth. Now, let us understand the rhyme scheme of this poem. I hope students you were able to, understood the poem, and I hope each of the stanza has been explained clearly. Now let us go through the rhyme scheme. Now this poem, it doesn't have any specific rhyme scheme because it's written in free verse. Okay, you might have noticed the poem is a free verse. There is no rhyme scheme as such. There are no rhyming words. Literary devices, alliteration. It is a close repetition of consonant sounds at the beginning of successive words. Initial alliteration, and within words, internal alliteration. So let me give you examples from the poem where we have come across alliteration. A single body breathes. The sound of B is repeated at the beginning of each word. Or sleep and strength. S sound is repeated, which is again an alliteration. Metaphor, a figure of speech. What does metaphor mean? It's a figure of speech in which a word or phrase, okay, is used to describe an object or action through comparison. So there is an indirect comparison. And the example which we have come across in the poem, beneath all uniforms, a single body breathes. Now uniforms here basically stand for militaries that different countries in the world have. These uniforms may be different in color, design, shape and culture, but people donning them are the same anywhere in the world. There's another example of metaphor. War's long winter starved. Here the starvation experience during unproductive and harsh winters describes the want and hunger also faced during wartime. Both these conditions led to ultimate destruction. So with this, we come to an end of this poem. Students, do remember to click on the home assignment, and I hope you understood the poem. Thank you so much for your time.